Hi, my pickles. My name is Sarah. Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto under 20. And it's working. And so is my OMAD 4 to 5 times a week, 1 meal a day. On the other days, I have a second meal. And so that first meal is usually bacon with a protein. Yesterday it was leftover steak. And then I got that maple smoked raw unpasteurized cheddar cheese, and I put an ounce onto the scrambled eggs, along with 1 tablespoon of Neuchâtel organic cream cheese. You probably could have heard me going in a 5-mile radius. It was delicious. So when I do have my 2 meals a day, the first meal doesn't contain any veggies. That could change today or tomorrow, who knows? But up until now, when I have it, it's something like eggs with a protein and some cheese. Bulletproof with half a tablespoon of brain octane from the Bulletproof Company. And the coffee today is OMAD Estate Organic. Got it at Stop and Shop. And a tablespoon of Calapo coconut oil in it, organic, unrefined. Delish, in case you didn't think it was, with a skosh, as we used to say in the bar business, of cashew milk with a hint of almond. That's what's happening here. So I got up and I got a shower and to get ready for the day. Comcast is coming today because watching videos or sending a video to YouTube has become more than a nightmare, along with emailing and everything else. And we've got Amazon, YouTube, and I know the other one's going to come to me, and it's the big one too, on Netflix, on our big TV in the living room. And so what a treat it is to watch anybody but me on the podcast. On the podcast, I look and I say, oh my God, she's so old and craggy. Oh. But I've been using this black toothpaste from Japan or China. Have any of you used it? I got it from Amazon, and I swear to God, it's working on the coffee stains. And when I do it, I leave it on for a little while, kind of whoosh my mouth around. But it was $10 for a tube, and there's not one word of English on the whole thing, even though on the box is a picture of a non-Chinese or Japanese woman. It's just kind of funny. But if any of you have tried that black toothpaste, let me know. It's great. $10. It's worth the try. I've thrown out more $10 items since I've been keto or low carb, high fat, let me tell you. And most of those items were sugar, standard American diet items. So I'm still enjoying the afterglow of watching Dr. Amon's Brain PBS special that I watched Sunday night. It was great. But yesterday I watched a live podcast with Casey, and Casey does keto. She's got a huge following, and she's an older woman, and she's lost, I guess, 93 pounds or something, 113 total over the years. And so she did a live podcast, and I don't know how you guys are with your listening skills. Now, I can read something and absorb nothing. It's like that part of my brain, excuse me, isn't like hearing it, even though I'm reading it, but I can hear something, and for me, the key is 3 times. So I will watch the same podcast over and over and over again because I pull out nuggets all the time. And I realize that hearing is what I do best with. And so I didn't have to watch her podcast 3 times because she said it 3 times. And now it's in my head, and so it's making sense. So she says when you're on keto, what you want to do is not think about the carbs that you're giving up. Don't think about the fat that's in the food plan when it's keto. Think about the lowering of the carbs not the adding of the fat. And she said it 3 times in the exact same way each time. And so I heard it. And so it's like, oh, of course, not of course, but that's what I do on Keto Under 20, is keep it under 20. She also is not a net carb fan, and either am I. And she tries to keep it at 15 and under, but her top is 20, and same for me. And I know that on Saturday, on the night that I have the 3 veggies with the big green egg and the steak, I really am close to 20. On the other days, like today, I only have 5.9 carbs, and I like that. And so don't think about the fat that you're adding to this food plan. If you're new here, think about the carbs that you're giving up. And because it was live, I'm sorry, because of being live, there were lots of questions streaming in. And so one of them was, I'm a big veggie lover and I love to eat veggies. Why is this now so, lots of veggies, why is this now so wrong? And that was really what made me do the Keto Under 20 with more of a scrutiny and a fine-tooth comb, because I love veggies. And it's like, well, if I'm having too many Brussels sprouts as opposed to having 2 bowls of cereal in the morning with sugar and wheat and all the and artificial things on it and 2 bananas and all that kind of standard American diet stuff, well, then maybe I need to look at that. And so, because I thought, well, it's just, really eating too much spinach could be bad for me? Yes, it's how it happens now. And so I definitely, last night I had my Fiesta bowl. I had roast pork, 4 ounces that I measured. I had 40 grams of organic baby spinach that I measured. I had 8 Brussels sprouts that I measured. And I had a half a cup of cauliflower crumbles that I measured. And that went into the bowl, and that was that. And eating clean really, really makes a difference. It makes a difference up here, and it makes a difference on the scale. I had a drop today, and I was excited. Don't think you can't be in your 60s and maybe even 70s and lose a little, And Casey was also talking about that. She says, if I lose 2 pounds a month, it's like, I'm delighted. If I stay the same, I'm delighted. And what she says is so true about how I feel too. I'm at a low that I only hoped for when I was in the 5th and 6th grade. I had already surpassed the number on the scale. And and they didn't make cute clothes for chubby girls. Trust me, they didn't back in the 50s. So it's lowering the carbs, not the added fat. That if you focus on that kind of, I don't know, it's just a head game with a shift. And so instead of thinking, oh my God, look at all that fat that I've had, and I keep the fat on the meat and I can eat the skin on the chicken, yeah, you can. And but it's the carbs. And so I weigh and measure. Some I do grams, some I do weighing, like when I have celery stuffed with Neuchatel organic cheese or regular cream cheese organic. I weigh the celery sticks, and for that, for 3 ounces, and then I add the 1 or 2 tablespoons of the cream cheese, depending on how much I'm having. And so, yes, I do weigh, I measure everything. You've seen my kitchen now that I've done grocery hauls and bulletproof, and it's a working kitchen. Everything is in an arm's reach. The beauty of a small working kitchen, and so when I do those things, the scale is there, the Pyrex cups are there, the measuring spoons are there. I have more than one set of measuring spoons. I have, probably 6 Pyrex cups on my toaster oven to use at any time, and I have tons of Fiesta ware and little things I guess they use from tasting parties or something. And so if I have only 2 ounces of something, and it's in it looks puny in a regular dish, then I pull out one of those little white tasting cups or square things, and when you put it in, it looks abundant. Like when I have macadamia nuts and I measure out 4 or 5 of them, to get to a half an ounce. They go on that little square thing from Pier 1. And so it looks like a lot. And that really is something that saved me. I eat with a little fork. I eat with a little spoon. I use a paring knife for my knife. And, yeah, I'm a little girl sitting there eating with all my little things. You know, to me, a bread and butter plate is kind of a dinner plate at times. I use the Fiesta bowls when I'm having a bowl of something. And yeah, last night was one of those things. Tonight is one of those things because I'm having zoodles with Rao's arrabbiata sauce, half a cup of that. And the zoodles, I got organic zucchini at Market Basket, so I will be spiralizing that. And it will sit on a quarter of a cup of cauli crumbles. And I will be having it with a Nature's Promise organic sweet Italian sausage. So it's pretty exciting. Oh, and I think I'm also having kale with it, 40 grams of kale. So that too will be a bowl. And I'm also having a half an ounce of hand-grated Stella organic Parmesan cheese. I do not buy the shredded cheese because I don't want all that caking, all those caking fillers added in. So, and how long does it take to shred a half ounce of cheese? Really? It doesn't take long at all. So don't be lazy. Think of your health. Go organic when you can. Read the backs of the labels, like that maple smoked cheese that I'm having. It's raw and unpasteurized. So it has all the good bugs in it, and the good bugs that eat the bad bugs, and also feed the good bugs in your tummy. And it's those little things that can make a difference. So the less something is tampered with, the more healthy it probably is for you. And it was funny because Casey was in her kitchen doing the podcast, and she said most of the items that we have don't have labels on them because we're buying fresh food. So she did pull out a thing of mayonnaise just to show how to read the label. And I did have a podcast on the new label that's going to be coming into law. It's not going to be coming into law for over a year. I mean, by the time they can do it. But it's going to show the added sugar. And so she was saying how she just reads the amounts per serving and things like that, like whether it's a tablespoon or whether it's like 85 grams, like my zoodles are. And it's easier to weigh a vegetable gram-wise. That's what I'm finding. Also butter-wise, also heavy whipping cream-wise. When I'm measuring those things out, I do grams now because they're much more accurate and on my little kitchen scale. So that's it from here. I know that hearing something a few times, which is why it's the same thing in the 12-step programs when you go to a meeting. You might hear the same thing for years before it makes sense, before you hear it, before you go, huh, I never thought of that. And it's like you've been hearing it, especially if that same person has the same kind of canned story. Well, I kind of have the same canned story too, because nothing has changed except the tweaking and maybe a new food item or something like that. But Keto Under 20 is Keto Under 20. So that grocery haul that I did last week is going to be the same grocery haul that I have this week. Sometimes it might say Trader Joe's on it. Other times it might say Organic Valley. You know, other times it might, for the pasture-raised meat, it might be Kerrygold. Other times it might be the Amish butter or the organic grass-fed butter. Same thing with the organic eggs. Sometimes it could be Trader Joe's organic eggs. Other times it could be Pete and Jerry's organic eggs. But it's what you're looking for that the item contains, which is, you know, grass-fed, pasture-raised, organic, no other ingredients, no carrageenan in your dairy products, raw and unpastured with cheese, what a difference it makes, and then we carry on from there. So it's the quality of the item, not necessarily the name brand. So you do have to become very aware of labels and brands and flipping it over and staying away from bags and boxes and packages, because that's the food industry wanting to keep you hooked. Also, when you start doing Keto Under 20 and you have something like spinach with butter on it, that's the taste that you probably need to adapt to instead of the bag of Doritos or the junky frozen novelty that you have that you think is saving you from a binge. It might be until it's time to give it up. Because I find here, for me, the reason I went keto under 20 is so I can keep my sugar addiction way over there. It's on the other side of the Cape. I don't have to revisit it. I'm not jonesing for something sweet. I'm jonesing for the highest quality, most organic, pasture-raised, unrefined coconut oil, all those sort of things. That's what I'm looking for in my daily food. And I'm going to say it one more time because maybe you guys are like me with the hearing. Focus on lowering the carbs to under 20, not focusing on the fat that you're now having. We've been brainwashed, if you're an American, maybe a Canadian too, for thinking that all this fat is not good for us. And it's like, not all the added fat, that could be too much, but the fats in a fatty piece of meat, the skin on chicken thigh, things like that, they are not bad for you. You have permission. Does it get better than that? I don't think so. Have a wonderful day, my pickles. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto Under 20. Have a marvelous day. Bye-bye for now.